Is your teenager having a hard time on tests like the SAT or ACT because of weakness in math? Have they struggled with math for years now? Do they continue to struggle even though they've been tutored in math? I'm Steve Schechter of Much Smarter. If your teenager is struggling with the SAT or ACT, I'd like to talk with you about the opportunity that this situation presents for you. Let's talk about how you can help your teenager transform their SAT, ACT struggles into success, not just on the SAT or ACT, but for life. I call this the bigger opportunity in SAT, ACT training. First, let's start by sharing the bigger picture on teenagers' difficulties with SAT or ACT math. This situation is way more common than you'd think. Over half of SAT and ACT test takers show weakness in math. Less than 50% of students achieve math scores that show them to be college ready according to the SAT or ACT. Large numbers of students have a long time poor relationship with math. It's as if they have math wounds that have not healed. What often happens is that at some point in elementary or middle school, they have a class that turns them off to math. Their math tests are sent home with red marks all over them. There are anxious parent-teacher conferences. The student begins to build a negative association around their whole experience with math. And each year, the math wound gets worse as the student gets further turned off. The material gets more complex, and the student falls further and further behind. So the young person forms the conclusion that they are simply no good in math. Does this situation feel at all familiar to you? If so, you may be feeling some of the same frustration that many parents of teenagers feel. You may find it particularly frustrating that one area on a test can get in the way of your teenager's college dreams. And still more frustrating if your teenager has been tutored in math, possibly for years, and the difficulty persists. But more important, what do you do about it? You are successful and a problem solver, and it does not sit right with you that your teenager simply has to settle for a situation that is such a mismatch with what you know to be their true capability. Well, you don't have to accept the mismatch. In the next video in this series, we'll take a closer look at the problem that teenagers have with SAT and ACT math, and that will point us toward the solution. See you there.